Power bombs, pile drivers, and peggers. All this and more on tonight's episode of Ring Respect Radio. Stay tuned. And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you all know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Woo! It's Thursday night again, and Ring Respect Radio again. Pumped to be here, Munson, but I hope no one ever forgets the sacrifices I make for my podcast. My football team is playing again tonight, and I cannot watch live because I come here of my own free will to lavish my wrestling knowledge upon all the listeners and to you too, Munson. So just so everybody knows, oh yeah, I'm dedicated to Ring Respect Radio.
We appreciate the hard work and dedication you show, Papa Smokes, and hopefully we can get you out of here in a reasonable time to catch the tail end of the Bombers game. But we are going to be talking very heavily about that Winnipeg area here tonight on the show. We're going to get to that in a moment. We're first going to welcome Zach Minger to the house. Then happy Good Ole Burger Day. Burger Day today. Oh, I mean, that sounds pretty nice right about now.
What was it last week? It was filet mignon day and creamsicle day. You remember that? What a combo that makes.
Oh man, every day, every time. This is my favorite thing. Before we even start the show, I get to know what good food Zach's recommended of the day. Happy Ole Burger Day to you too, Zach. Thanks for joining Ring Respect Radio. And thanks to this man right here. It's the Bass Man, Basser up in the house. Happy Thursday, boys. We aren't too far off from PPW, as he says. And yes, Papa Smokes, I said at the top of the hour before we even started here to you, we got to talk about some of this. We got to talk about Prairie Pro Wrestling, as PPW is going to be live Saturday, September the 6th, as we present Los Slamtos live in Saskatoon. Papa Smokes, I need to tell people, if you haven't got a seat yet, I cannot confirm whether or not they're completely sold out, but they're that close. General admission's going on sale very, very soon, but if you want to be seated at the Prairie Pro Wrestling Los Slamtos show, make sure to reach out to us immediately. Try to book your spot to the hottest ticket in town. The final stop, Papa Smokes, on the way to the Ring of Horrors, and we have that big title match coming up because Riley Cruz won that battle royal. He is scheduled to fight Michael Allen Richard Clark at the show here on Saturday, September the 6th, but he's also got to watch out a little bit. We got to say that both him and Michael Allen Richard Clark are going to be watched upon like a hawk by the Mexican Devil, El Asesino, who's been wanting that title shot. And we also know, well, those who watch along on YouTube haven't got to this point yet, but we also know El Asesino won himself a battle royal and guaranteed himself a title shot in the not too distant future. So he's going to have his eyes on this particular matchup coming up on Saturday, September the 6th.
Oh, and all the PPW Nation's eyes will be fixed upon this match on September 6th because what an important match it is. All title matches are important, especially in PPW, but this one, as you said, kind of has a special significance to it because Riley Cruz, a young upstart, coming up and winning that battle royal at the Berries game, unbelievable, and he gets himself a title shot against Michael Allen Richard Clark. Two guys that are fan favorites, like to follow the rules, like the cheers of the crowd. It's going to be a weird match, but you better believe that eyes are going to be upon that match, not only of the fans wondering what's going to happen going into our big show of the year, Ring of Horrors, but you know that the eyes of the devil, the eyes of the Mexican devil are going to be fixed upon this match. And God only knows what's going to happen, but I fear for Riley Cruz and Michael Allen Richard Clark. And I'm also very interested as to what the status of our heavyweight title will be after that match, because we ain't going to know until it's all over.
You bet. And again, I can't confirm whether or not a future title shot for El Asesino means at the Ring of Horrors. Does it mean in December? Does it mean next year? That wasn't exactly confirmed, but I'm sure if El Asesino has it his way, Papa Smokes, he's going to be looking to get that spot at the Ring of Horrors because he stands undefeated at the Ring of Horrors. Every time that he has lured somebody into his trap at the big show of the year, he's walked away victorious. And I have a feeling he's been playing games for a reason. He's been drawing this out for a reason. He has ill intent to lay a hurt upon whomever the champion might be on the Ring of Horrors Part 4 this year.
Oh, absolutely, Munson. And have you ever read the book, The Lord of the Rings? Because there's that spider called Shelob that hides in the darkness and watches all the time and waits for traveling people to come through it and just takes them and devours them. That's exactly the same situation here. El Asesino's backyard and green grass is PPW, and he's just waiting to pick off all the wrestlers that come by that want to line up for title shots, that want to get in on that title picture. He's a spider. He's going to trap you, and he's going to destroy you. And that's just the way it goes. I love Riley Cruz, but I feel like he might be in for a long night. Same thing with Michael Allen Richard Clark. Those guys better have eyes on the back of their head like a spider, because they've got an evil force that's watching them and waiting all the time.
You bet, Papa Smokes. We also have to say hello to the Mangler joining us up in the house once again. Thank you, as always, for being here, supporting, and being an amazing friend. Happy Thursday to you as well. And rooting for the Bombers, as always. You're creating fans out of everybody, Papa Smokes. You're turning Saskatchewan into a blue town here.
It's not that difficult, man. If football fans can understand greatness, they can see it where it is. We're not doing so great so far this year, but same thing with last year. We'll be there at the big show at the end of the year, no question.
Winning when it matters. The Blue Bombers game. You know what? That's all that matters. It matters on who's in that final and who wins the cup at the end of the whole thing. So right now, points don't really matter that much other than making it to the playoffs, which, I mean, considering there ain't much for teams in the CFL, it's not
there's
really
only 9
the hardest
teams.
thing.
Yeah, there's only 9 teams. We don't even have an even number of teams for a league, which is kind of hilarious. But, yeah, you only got to make it in, and then it's 3 wins and you're done.
Yep, that's just it. And your Bombers like to go on a roll when it matters. We'll see what happens as the CFL draws a little bit more further into the season. We still got a little bit to go, so we'll see.
Halfway. We're halfway. Yeah.
You bet. Yeah, we got those big games, the Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, that really cause a stir here in the province of Saskatchewan, coming up very, very soon too, Pop Smokes. I'm sure you're all kinds of excited to rub it in the face of Saskatchewan Riders fans if the Blue Bombers walk away with those victories next year.
I'm usually somewhat a sportsman-like fan, but sometimes it gets the better of me. But Sask Riders fans, we're coming for you. We're coming.
There you go. Stamped officially by Papa Smokes himself. Watch out, Riders fans. But tonight, Papa Smokes, we are talking about Winnipeg, as I mentioned. Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, in fact, our friends just one province over, running shows. And, you know, I've always heard the buzz about them. I've seen a match or two pop up on YouTube, and it just so happened the playlist comes up for this recent show. I still know who you pinned last summer. Had a good chuckle at the name. Well played, WPW. I was like, you know what? Papa Smokes and I should cover some WPW here on the channel. We talk about PPW. We talk about our friends over at SPW. Speaking of which, we'll talk about them later in the night because that show is coming up right away.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's add WPW to this mix, Papa Smokes. They're not too far from us. I don't see anybody giving them any love on the podcasting side. At least I haven't come across it yet anyway. So welcome home to the love of WPW right here at Ring Respect Radio. And Papa Smokes, before we even get into any matches, any details of who was at this show, why don't you officially give us the lay of the land, where this took place, and a little bit of the backstory behind where we're at here?
Absolutely, would be pleased to. This was a great suggestion by you to cover. I'm glad to do it. Glad to talk a little bit more about Canadian independent wrestling, in particular Western Canadian, because I'm a Western Canadian patriot. Our country's kind of two countries. There's the East, and then there's all the rest of it. The West guys out here. I'm patriotic about the West because we're kind of like a different country, but at any rate, yes, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. They run in various venues throughout the city. They used to often run in the West End Cultural Center, which is where its name implies, in the West End. It used to be a venue for some of the independent Winnipeg companies of the past. Tony Condello, you don't know him, you know of him, and also Joey Aiello. Those are two big promoters of independent wrestling in Winnipeg through the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Those guys used to run shows there, and then WPW have found it handy to run their shows there too. It's a venue not unlike the Cosmo Hall where PPW runs in Saskatoon. It's kind of a neighborhood community center type thing. You look on the wall, it'll show the schedule for the week coming up. It'll be like Monday night knitting club, Tuesday night gardening, Wednesday night square dancing, Thursday night lawn bowling and bocce ball, and then Friday night it'll be like thrash metal bands, Sacrifice and Razor, and then Saturday night local pro wrestling. So it's one of those, it's kind of like the venue that we run PPW at. It's a mixed bag of what they host there. So a lot of fun. But this particular show that we're going to talk about, I Still Know Who You Pinned last summer, was held at the Blue Note Park, they call it now. So the Blue Note, people will recognize that name as a famous blues bar in New York. There's a few Blue Notes around. It usually denotes a live music venue of blues and jazz kind of thing. And that's what it was in Winnipeg, too. It's been a bar for a long time. I want to say since the 40s or 50s. I should have looked into this more closely, but it's been a bar for a long time. But some years ago, it was demolished. And now there's kind of a space between the buildings. It's right downtown. It's just off the famous intersection of Portage and Main. If you know anything about Winnipeg, that's the center of the city, the two biggest streets where they cross, Portage and Main. It's just off of there. And it's been a blues and jazz venue for, like I say, since the 50s or 40s or something. But it's torn down now, and there's kind of a space between the buildings. It's like a large courtyard, so to speak, but it's the way they have it designed now. It's like a beer gardens kind of. They host concerts back there. They host live theater, fringe play productions, such like that, dance shows, anything like that. And then WPW now finding it expedient to throw summer shows back there underneath the sky, right? Didn't this show look nice? With the blue sky in the background. You and I know about that from Food Truck Wars and the recent Barry's game. That footage looks awesome with a nice summer sky and some clouds and some natural sunlight coming in on the ring and a nice crowd of what looked to be 400 or 500 people. Like there was quite a few people there for a small show.
Yep.
And so one of the highlights of this show for me was being held in the Blue Note Park, as they call it now. Just kept it as a nice open urban space right in the middle of the city. I love this idea. Instead of building another building which might have something in it or might have something for a while and then change, why not just keep it open as an urban open space for the city where stuff can be held, artistic events like theater and music and wrestling, what a cool thing. What did you think about the choice of venue for this show?
Oh, I loved it. And again, even though a few matches in, you start to see the sky dim down to darkness and everything like that, but they have it well lit. I like the fact that it's well lit properly in that area, because you can lose that in an outdoor event if you don't have the proper lighting. But they had that proper lighting, highlighted the ring beautifully, highlighted the spots where the wrestlers were going outside of the ring, so you didn't lose a lot. Gotta say hello to Brian Carter, who's up in the house right now. Pop Smoke saying, "Good evening, guys. The Cosmo looks to rock like the Thunderdome in every video I watch." I mean, hell, if the Thunderdome had fans with the types of level of just energy that PPW fans have, that place would crumble to the ground from all of the energy and excitement that packed inside of there. Can't wait, Brian, for you to see some of the upcoming videos that will happen, especially once that Ring of Horrors takes place in October here. It's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up. But yeah, Pop Smokes, the venue, choice of venue is fantastic. If you're going to do a summer event, do it outside like this. It's beautiful. You get that nice Canadian blue sky above you and everything like that. It looked fantastic. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. We're going to talk first of all about some of the people involved, including your ring announcer for the night, Wilfred Langside. Liked him, did a nice job throughout there. They introduced Prairie Sky as the host of the show, got to do a little bit of an introduction. Must be a local, I'm assuming a local celebrity of sorts in the area and everything. So that, it's cool when you get the opportunities to have local celebrities join you for things like that. And then you have your commentary team of Angus and Blair Pacheco. I hope I said that correctly, Blair. If you do happen to watch this and I said it wrong, my apologies. Call me Monsoon, call me Monster, call me whatever you want. I understand. I deserve it. But I thought they did great, Pop Smokes. Again, for having not really followed along WPW just yet, I think they did a nice job of delivering enough information throughout the night so that I could understand the core of what's going on in their booking right now.
Yeah, I also thought it was good too. The guys had enthusiasm. They had knowledge about the angles and all that stuff, and they brought the fans up to date. Now, I should know this, but is Blair Pacheco the host of Grainmaker podcast that does a lot of interviews with local Canadian wrestlers and some of our PPW alumni as well? He runs a good podcast. That's pretty cool.
You bet, yeah. And again, that's where I know the name from as well too. And it's cool to see him doing commentary here. And massive shout out to him and to the Grainmaker podcast as well too. Go check him out.
Yep.
Does a lot of fantastic work here for independent wrestling, and it doesn't go unnoticed, my friend. But let's talk about the matches, Pop Smokes. We started the night off with one wrestler I know, the other one I didn't, but I soon would. Seems like Sammy Peppers is quite a little local legend around the old Winnipeg area and stuff like that. Definitely a fan favorite with a lot of energy to start things off. Comes out to the ska music and high energy, and he's just ready to go. He's got the peppers all over his tights and everything. And he's going up against a guy we're a little more familiar with, Gringo Loco, in this matchup. And man, I didn't know Gringo had such a mouth on him until I heard him in this matchup, smack talking with the crowd on hand there. And that's the other thing. This crowd, once they get going, and there's a few times they had some really good chance going against people in this. This was a fun, interactive crowd throughout the night.
For sure, and the crowd reminded me so much of our PPW Nation, too. They were high energy. They were enthusiastic. You could see they were drinking quite heavily, having a real good time. And, the chants were clever. The chants were funny. So these are repeat customers. These are fans that come to a lot of the shows because they've been thinking about the characters that are in this wrestling show, and they have the knowledge to get some clever chants going and such. Talking about Gringo Loco, you and I know him from, well, at least I know him from MLW basically, but he's a journeyman on the indies. He travels everywhere. He does matches wherever he basically feels like it. I don't think that guy has any problem getting booked. Well, wasn't it funny seeing him as a heel in this context? I'm used to him as a babyface. He's quite effective as a babyface, but then he grabbed the mic before this match and tore a strip out of this crowd.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you and I have talked about booking cards before. This wasn't exactly a super hot match to have first or anything like that. That's fine. You could put a preliminary match first, but when Gringo Loco got on the mic, boy, that started to heat up the crowd before there was even a headlock applied on the entire show or in this match. Like, he had them grumpy, he had them groaning and booing and heckling right off the bat. So good decision to do it that way. And everybody knows Gringo Loco's ring work is quite good. He's got the whole quasi lucha style down and everything. But I was glad to hear him on the mic too. He got the fans ready to go. He got them vocal because they wanted to reply to him in kind to his rather insulting words.
Yeah, he was fantastic in doing that. And in driving that heat, they already, I mean, it was very clear they already like Peppers. This guy is love.
Yeah.
He's that lovable baby face that, you know, almost kind of the guy that would be hard to turn him heel because he's your good draw amongst the regulars that come to these shows and everything like that. So I see that in that sense, it's also good to have him out there because the crowd like him. They're energized. This is somebody we know, we like, we know what we're going to get from him. Then you throw Gringo Loco into the mix and he trash talks and his in-ring is solid. But you know how sometimes the heels, when they do cool moves, they get cheered anyway because people are so cynical these days. They're like, man, that was awesome. And they can't truly hate a heel. But that's what I love about independent wrestling is all it takes is someone getting on the mic and trashing your country. Like when he gets on there and starts trashing Canada. You trash Canada and you will become the biggest dirtbag that exists on the planet, and every Canadian will go against you at that point. Perfect. Now everybody hated Gringo Loco, so when he was doing the cool moves, they weren't cheering him. They're still booing him. And it's all Peppers had to do is throw a punch back in retaliation, and he's getting popped every single time. And you know that means you've got a solid baby face, you've got a solid heel in the matchup. The matchup itself is good as well, too. It was awesome. I mean, this was a nice way to start this card off. Did you notice they live stream their events on YouTube? Hint, hint. I mean,
yeah, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. We might have to check that out. Andre C coming in. He's like,
yeah.
Oh,
hey, Andre
and Bobby. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate it as always. But yeah, it was a good opening to the show. Did enjoy that, so it was a nice touch there. What we got next, though, Papa Smokes, was let me see here if I got my everything in order. Yeah, Bia Moss taking on Chris Tara, and I'm familiar with Bia Moss. She came down with the women's champion Ava Lawless. Of course, I know who Ava Lawless is as well too. Chris Tara wasn't familiar with Chris Tara's work. This was a decent match, and Bia Moss, what a mouth on her. Like even when she comes out later in the night, she trash talks, and it doesn't stop to the point where it's like, it's irritating, but it's irritating in the way she is supposed to be irritating, to the point where it didn't matter that you didn't necessarily know. I mean, maybe people there knew who Chris Tara was. I didn't. But like, yeah, Chris Tara, kick her ass. Kick her ass. Let's stop her from talking that smack. Shut her up already. And you get excited about shutting up a good heel like that. And I got to give it to Bia Moss. The trash talking was very, very effective on her side. And the in-ring work too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This is one of the matches that stood out for me on this card. Not because it's going to get 5 stars from Dave Meltzer or anything like that, but because they put it on second. It's these wrestlers are younger. They're just a little bit on the green side. That's fine. You're towards the bottom of the card. But both of them played their roles quite well. Thought Chris Tara was a lovable baby face, but Bia Moss stood out to me. Man, she gets it. She knows how to work. She was working this entire match. And I'm not just talking about working holds and working spots and doing moves. She was interacting with the crowd. She was interacting with her opponent. She was interacting with the ref. Anybody at ringside. She was giving the shit to everybody throughout this in absolute heel style. She'll get better at it at some point, but I thought she was pretty good at it now. And with a little bit of polishing, she could become something in Canadian wrestling and maybe beyond that. She has a nice look. She has a good presentation. her look could be jazzed up a little bit throughout the future. It's all good. She's in a developmental stage right now. But yeah, like you say, the verbal part of her game was just very, very nice and antagonistic, perfect for a heel character. And here's one that you could hardly imagine as a babyface, but she just leave her where she is for now. She's doing good as a heel. She's obviously soaking up some knowledge from Ava Lawless as well. And what a pair coming out there. This was a pretty decent match, and it's one of the ones that stood out and one of the ones that I remember from this because if anybody knows Papa Smokes, you know, I've seen a lot of wrestlers, and I can spot good ones a mile away, ones with potential, and Bia Moss was just that for me. I'll keep my eye on her because I could see her going somewhere with that if she sticks to it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Bob. So just so everybody knows, I just put it in the chats. If you want to check out Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, because I still know who you pinned last summer, the link is in the chats right now. Go check them out. Subscribe to them on YouTube as well, too. Let them know that the Video Bros over at Bring Respect Radio sent you over. Moving on from that match, Bob Smokes, BMOS, of course, getting the victory in that one. Yeah, so
yeah, she pinned her with her feet on the ropes. A nice style. Off of the distraction from Ava Lawless. So cheated twice and won. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. We will hear more from both of them later on in the night as well, too. But up next, we have Nick Nelson and TLC, which is Tommy Lee Curtis, taking on the team of Jackson Conway and Merv Unger Jr. First of all, what do you think of it? This was the one, Jack to Jesus was, I think, the reference that they made. First of all, I love the name Jack Jesus. I thought right away, I'm like, when can we get Jack Jesus to be our friend, the Divine Light, Mr. James Shaw, one of these days?
Yeah, or maybe he needs to fight Boken Jesus for the title at some point. Who gets to be called Jesus? But yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of the matchup anyway? I thought a solid tag team matchup here from both teams. I was unfamiliar with any of the guys involved, but for me, a really good introduction to what do they bring to the table.
Yeah, same. I wasn't familiar with any of these guys. The babyface team was good but unremarkable, from first glance anyway. Merv Unger Jr. is not the wrestling name that really just slides off the tongue so well. You could maybe tinker with that one a bit, Rob, but that's just my opinion. But
then you just use Big Merv. Big Merv is all it is, right?
That's better. I like that better. Yeah. But then we had just kind of either a small faction or just two members of a faction. It was the Church of the Jack Jesus. Nick Nelson and Tony, is it Tony or Tommy Lee Curtis?
Tony Lee Curtis, I think, isn't
Tony
it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a famous actor?
No, Tommy Lee Curtis. My apologies. Tommy Lee Curtis.
Okay, yeah. Sounds like a famous actor of some.
Well, because Tony Curtis is Jamie Lee Curtis's father, or he's Tony Lee Curtis, right? And then I keep getting mixed up because I keep wanting to think Tommy Lee, the drummer, but it's Tommy Lee Curtis, TLC is what he is.
What about Tommy Lee Jones too from The Fugitive? That's another.
All right. Yeah. Jeez, getting all these Lee names mixed up here, aren't we?
I know you got to be careful when you pick your name in wrestling. It's got to be something a little more unique. But at any rate,
Jack Jesus will work just fine.
No, absolutely. And as I watched this match, it became clear right off the bat that the Jack Jesus was by far the only guy in this match that's over, right? And the fans don't like him. It's funny. He's built up some heat. He wasn't laying it on that thick in this match. He was doing some posing and yelling some of his bastardized scriptures out to the crowd. But I noticed the crowd got a chant at one point of "fuck you, Jesus." That was pretty funny. That's a little unorthodox.
Surprised that one beat the YouTube censors, actually.
Oh, for sure. And it's testament to that this crowd was having a good time. Even by the third match, they were having some sips of some White Claws and some beers and really getting into it. You could see everybody was sweaty out there in their shorts. it looked like such a good time, but not too bad of a match. Tommy Lee's got some problems with his disciple, but they still ended up coming out with the win in this and putting themselves in the tag team picture. We'll later hear from the tag team champions of WPW later in this card. They will cut a promo, but not too bad. And the Jack Jesus hung around for a while after this match and kept the heat going with the fans. So not too bad. He's over. He helped get the younger guys over, and this match works perfectly for third match into the card.
Yeah, it really did. And yeah, afterwards he's on the shtick, and even though they're a tag team, first of all, announcing that his partner got his first victory in his career or whatever, or in his WPW career, with siding with Jack Jesus. So I mean, he's preaching that with his help he can turn anybody into a champion or a winner. Then announcing that the both of them are going to enter the battle royal known as Battle in the Burt, I believe it was, or was if I'm not mistaken, Battle in the Burt is what's going to be coming up, and the winner of that obviously going to earn themselves a shot at the WPW champion. So we welcome Astrid into the house. Astrid, thanks for joining us here on Ring Respect Radio. But yes, Rumble in the Burt will feature both these two gentlemen, and not the only two that would declare their position in that battle royal throughout this entire night either, Papa Spoke. So interesting one indeed. Moving on from there, what I thought was probably, sorry.
Can I just say, you brought up Battle at the Burt. I just wanted to insert in there that I keep wanting to call them WCW. WPW likes to do shows at different venues of different sizes, and that Battle at the Burt they do every year. If people not familiar with Winnipeg or non-peggers, as we call them, if you don't know, the Burt is the Burton Cummings Theatre. Burton Cummings is a famous Canadian musician that's from Winnipeg. He's got I'm not sure how big the Burton Cummings Theatre is. It's got to be 2,000 or something like that, or maybe 1,000 capacity. And it's a nice music theater. It's built for music, but they do a wrestling show there every year. That's one of their big ones. They also do night at the museum as well, at the Museum of Man and Nature, and that's a wild spot to put a wrestling show in as well. Would love to attend either of those, but particularly the museum one would be pretty cool.
It really would be. Brian asking if the new up-and-comer Barry the Bears would join the upcoming battle. I mean, hey, if Barry would be smart to. I mean, dude's on a roll. I mean, he took that big win in the PPW Battle Royal. Maybe he does need to enter Battle at the Burt himself, but he might be busy with other things in the offseason for the Berries this year. We'll have to see. Up next on the card, Papa Spokes, what I would say was probably one of the most energetic and entertaining and smoothest done matchups throughout this entire card. It is Bamboo taking on El Rey. These two guys are a tag team. This is an opportunity for them to go one-on-one. This was made to be a very big deal. And damn it, are these two guys slick inside there? All I kept thinking to myself throughout this whole thing was everything about this match is as on par, as good as anything being pushed on the higher end Lucha Libre cards these days, on a AAA card, on all the different variations of lucha that we're seeing in North American pro wrestling. This stands up there for these guys were as polished and good and slick in the ring on this night, on this match, and that could be because they know how each other work. They're friends, they're brothers, they know each other. That does help. But the way they put this together and the way they performed it, this was one of the best things on the card by far. And it worked for me. And it was that high of level it gets that high level of praise that this is not just a top match on an indie card. This could have been inserted on a card for a bigger promotion and stuff like that. And people would have been like, okay, these two guys put on a great show.
I think you're right about that, Munson. And this was another match that stood out for me on this card, even in light of a pretty good main event and all that. I liked that previous ladies match, and I liked this lucha match. These guys put on a heck of a show. They, like you said, they were familiar with each other. They were a tag team called the Lucha Kings. And I'm not sure if they broke up or if they're just having a match, a kind of an exhibition match against each other. But this was really well done, and it's something I'm not used to seeing on a Western Canadian independent wrestling card. Is like just a nice, smooth, finely crafted lucha match like that. I have quite an appreciation for lucha. I don't like to watch a whole show at a time of lucha, but a couple matches at a time, I really enjoy. As you know, I think you also enjoyed the lucha matches on MLW
Mhm.
because they had some of the top stars out of AAA and CMLL performing there. But these guys, yeah, could have ranked up amongst Mystico and the various and Bandito and the various guys from those promotions. This was just nicely put together, and I mean, these dudes are tag team partners. They know each other. They've trained together. They've practiced together millions of times. This is like Stampede Wrestling putting Bret Hart against Davey Boy Smith. You can call it a rivalry or a grudge match or something, but in fact, these guys have just practiced and trained and grappled and sparred so many times together that it becomes natural between the two of them. Such was the case with Bamboo and El Rey. So just a nice, different match on the card. It didn't look like any of the other matches. Doesn't look like any of the matches we've ever thrown on PPW. It was a beautiful, nice, smooth lucha match of just what lucha is. It's a little bit silly at times. It looks a little bit cooperative and such at times. Who cares? It's good. It's good wrestling. It's good art. And these guys did it really well. So
Mhm.
what a spot in this. And just leapfrogs, rolls all over the place. Like they had their rope running. They had all their leaps off the top rope and all that. It was perfect. It was set out so well. And I'm sure the guys said afterwards, wow, that went well because there were no hiccups, no bad spots, no botches anywhere. Just went smooth as silk. So what a treat for the fans and what a nice different kind of match to have on a card of a bunch of good stuff. But this one really stood out for me for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And Bamboo picks out the win. A lot of praise shown between the two gentlemen afterwards. So obviously it's not a heated rivalry by any means. Like you said, a couple of sparring partners. They put on a great matchup. I will say not only in this match, but also multiple matches throughout. Anytime they went to the outside, it wasn't like there was your typical pads around there's no nice floor in the land on the outside by any means at all. This was straight up gravel and asphalt throughout this entire place. So anytime they were doing spots outside of the ring, diving and everything like that, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, those moves scare me at the best of times. But when you throw the fact that there is no give to the landing on these things, I'm like, man, these guys are nuts. But you know what? It's very entertaining at the same time. We had a great time. Next match, Papa Smokes, we had the WPW 92.1 city title matchup. I'm imagining this has to be a local Winnipeg radio station that is put the money and promotion into a local belt. Are you familiar with this station?
Yeah, City FM. It was a station that probably guys like us would listen to, dudes at work and such. It was a bit harder rock and like some old rock and roll and some current metal and stuff like that. It was one of the better radio stations for sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, we had in the matchup the challenger Anderson Tyson Moore taking on, this name's great, Black Sexcellence Devon Moore Monroe. Sorry, they said it differently. It's not Devon, it's Devon or something like that, isn't it? The pronunciation.
Yeah, I think so. It was pronounced a couple different times. I'm not sure the commentators were sure either, but wow, what an entrance and what a persona. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of it stood out right away really both guys here really came out, and this was, Black's Excellence was a standout in every way. The entrance, like you said, the move set, the everything. I mean, this was a fun match. This was cool. It was different from what we had seen on the card this far anyway.
For sure. And when Monroe came out, just for a split second there, I thought, is that Sonny Kiss from AEW? There's a certain resemblance there for sure, even the hairdo and the dance and everything too. And wow, really interesting. This wasn't my favorite match of the entire card. It was more sizzle than it was steak, so to speak. There wasn't a whole ton of action in this. They did fight outside the ring. The one spot I liked was Monroe hit Moore with a DDT on the classic Canadian picnic table. Yeah. That was cracking me up. We all know how hard those are. You're not going to break that or go through that, even with two big guys going through it. But the fans, once again, like some good shots of the fans during this match. I love to see them in the crowd, like I said, on a nice summer night, sweating, drinking, having fun, and then having some action all around them. You can see the smiles, you can see the excitement on the faces. That's what it's all about for me. People having a good time.
And the best part is they're doing slams on the tables, they're doing DDTs on the tables. The people who have those tables, that book those tables, they grab their drink up beside them.
Yeah.
They stand back just about a foot. They allow it to happen. They clap the wrestlers on the back, and then they sit back down and go back to drinking and watching the show. Like, people at these indie shows, it's fantastic because you can get out there and you can do all this, and you're not going to have that trouble from the crowd relatively often where they're going to try to involve themselves or do something stupid. I mean, you have the rare idiot out there that thinks they're tough and wants to get involved, fuck around and find out, as the saying goes, but it doesn't happen often. It's cool to see when people, good old Canadian people, just pick that beer up and step about a foot back, let the wrestlers do their thing, head on back to doing their thing right afterwards. No problem at all, kind of thing. It's great. I mean, yeah, like you said, is it match of the night? No. I mean, there was a lot of better matchups overall, but I think that Black's Excellence, not only for the name and the entrance, but a lot of what we saw did stand out, despite the fact that not coming up victorious, actually losing the title to the new champion, Anderson Tyson Moore. I was shocked. I mean, I don't know enough about either of them to really understand exactly, but it's like when Black's Excellence came out, I'm like, oh, this is their fan star. Like, this is somebody that people love. I was expecting, a successful title defense, but clearly there's some build there from ATM and everything. So, good on that. Interesting to see where they go from there. But, Black's Excellence definitely was a standout for me overall on the card.
Oh, very much so. And he is their rhinestone cowboy, so to speak, right? The fans really get behind him. And a good positive showing for him. But losing that City FM belt, of course, the heel had his manager out there with him. So you knew there was going to be some shenanigans, and the heels pull it off this time. But that Devon Monroe is going to be back and looking to get that title back and looking to do it at some of these fun shows that WPW throw throughout the city. I think it'd be really fun to be a fan of this promotion too, because like you were saying about those fans that they see the spot coming that's going to be on their table, they pick up the beer, they stand back, they're all calm. Also reminds me of our PPW Nation too, who don't want to cause trouble with the match or the action or anything. Don't want to be part of it. They will defer to let the action happen around them. Isn't that enough to just have the wrestling match going on in the crowd right in front of you? For sure it's enough. So just step back and watch and enjoy it. This match got the crowd really involved, came out amongst them and did some action and everything. So, of course, the fans, they're going to be loving that.
You bet. Sounds like ring respect when you're ready to move your beverage. Awesome.
Yeah. Woo.
So 45 minutes in, Bob, suppose we still have a few more matches to talk about as we're getting to the top of the hour here.
Yeah.
We want to move on next to the WPW women's title match. And this match, the champion Ava Lawless defending against Aurora Tevez. Tevez making her debut for Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. So the crowd not familiar with her, but they clearly were behind her because they wanted to see her defeat the champion, the heel champion, who's accompanied by the coming back out once again, Bia Moss, the pretty much one of the biggest standouts of the entire night. And man, she was even more smack talking during this match than she was during her own match, turning right to people in the crowd, getting right in their face and just chirping them. You know, like she, you know, you see it a lot of the times when you got that one real firecracker of a human being that they don't care who's the biggest dog in the yard. They're going to go right at him. And Bia Moss is exactly that person. She'll talk smack to the person who's 10 times the size, and she don't give a fuck about it either, too. She was on fire. And then the match in the ring. Solid matchup. I mean, obviously, Ava Lawless is clearly a very well-polished, seasoned professional in the independent wrestling scene. Has been around for a while, but you know, this is the first time getting a chance to see Tevez, and I thought she did a great job hanging in there with the champion Ava Lawless and looking like she belonged in the title picture, being it was her debut for the company.
Yeah, very much so. And Tevez impressed me because she looked like she hasn't been a wrestler all that long. But you can see that she's got some fighting skill to her. Did you see some of those kicks she was throwing out there? Reminding me of Morris Waltz a little bit, to the midsection, to the head, those high section kicks. Not everybody can throw those. She had no problem. She's got the flexibility. She's tossing feet right up into Ava Lawless's face. Had nice offense for a baby face. Generated some excitement amongst the crowd, but in tight against Ava Lawless, who, as you mentioned, is well-traveled around these parts and many other parts as well, taking her show on the road. She's a heel in this company and really just works it quite well. Along with Bia in her corner, they were a couple of hornets annoying the crowd quite a lot, and the crowd was having a good time heckling and mocking them a little bit. But, of course, Lawless, with the experience and the distractions and the cheating a little bit, comes up on top. But again, Aurora Tevez still looking good in this. Eats a loss, but isn't made to look bad in this. He's just made to look younger, less experienced, and the crowd goes away with the feeling that, well, she'll be back. She's going to get better, and she's going to get more confidence. She'll get another chance at this belt, and this next time it might be different. That's how you sell tickets in wrestling, and it's a very good strategy for this match.
You bet. Up next, Papa Smokes. I don't know if we're going to talk longer about this match than the match itself. We'll find out in just a moment, but
yeah,
relatively quick matchup between Ronnie Attitude and Tyler Colton. Tyler Colton, a name I'm very familiar with, somebody who's been around for quite some time, managing to squash his opponent in relatively easy fashion. Then being able to cut a promo about how he had lost the championship and how he, you know, lost that ability to want to be there. He went away for a while and now he's back. And this was the chance for him to make that mark, make that statement, show that he's back, and then claim his place at Battle at the Burt, where he wants to earn back his opportunity to go up against the champion and win his belt back.
Yeah. First of all, Ronnie Attitude came out just looking like a good job guy from the 80s. I was loving that, almost a kind of a Bud Heavy vibe to him. And the crowd was just, they were liking him. They were supporting him in a heel way, kind of. Well, one fan was quite audible on the audio track saying, Ronnie Attitude is the stupidest name I've ever heard. Yeah, and he got a reaction from the wrestler to top level heckling their unknown fan. I like that quite a bit. But Tyler Colton comes in, a wrestler I've liked and admired over past years. We used to call his matches in HIW in the old days, Munson. He used to get booked in Saskatoon on a pretty regular basis. The Canadian Hercules, also doing his strongman competitions at the same time, putting a chain around his neck and pulling a semi-trailer and bending steel bars and all that stuff. He's a big, strong boy. But I hadn't seen a Tyler Colton match in a couple of years. he looks a lot different, wouldn't you say, than the last time you saw him?
Oh, 100%.
He looks, I mean this in a positive way. He looks like an older man now. Like he looks just a little bit different. He's much heavier set in the torso area. He's got the short hair that's going gray a bit. He looks good, man. He's got more tattoos and all that stuff. He was giving me vibes of AEW's The Butcher, kind of, who's another guy who's plays in heavy metal and grindcore bands in his spare time. Same thing as Tyler Colton. So Canadian Hercules, multi-talented, but Ronnie Attitude didn't put up much competition in this match. Big old squash. Well, what this segment was intended to do was to put Colton over strong on the comeback trail towards getting the heavyweight championship back. Cut that kind of heartfelt promo afterwards about babyface promo about how he wants to get his opportunity back at the Burton Cummings Theater. So yeah, nice segment. The fans get to see the Canadian Hercules in action, throwing his power around. Hold that sit down power bomb that finished off the match, looking like Winnipeg's Batista there, just putting Ronnie Attitude through the mat with that power bomb. Nicely done. Like Tyler Colton, like him as a babyface, and as we hopefully continue to cover WPW, we will maybe get to see if he makes his way back to that championship.
100% Pop Smokes. We probably just gonna pass by this. We got a quick promo here from the tag team New Money. They had won the tag team titles earlier in the day. They are the new tag team champions, so they had to bring them out, let everybody see them. Cut a quick promo. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because we are getting to the top of the hour and we got one more match to talk about there. But Papa Smokes, any quick thoughts on that promo from New Money?
A good thing to put in, like I don't think this had anything to do whatsoever with the live show, did it? Was this a pre-tape?
Yeah, it was a earlier in the night type thing or something like that. It was not part of this card.
For sure, but adding it to the YouTube video just gives that little added package to the fans. Just because there wasn't a tag team title match, keep the buzz going. Show everybody who New Money is, who their tag team champions are. They're a couple of arrogant douchebags, and they cut an arrogant promo that put themselves over and was denigrating everybody else in WPW and all the other tag teams and the fans and anyone from Winnipeg. Yeah, they healed it up hard. So put this in here. That's good. We like those pre-tape packages. If you can't have them in a match, still feature them on this video so that we get to see, and that anyone new, such as us, who are watching our first show in some time, we can get a little bit caught up on the scene.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, we know who all the champions are. We're a little bit more familiar. And now we can talk about the main event of the evening. This match scheduled for one fall. And it is for the WPW Heavyweight Championship of the World. The champion, James Roth, taking on challenger Chad Daniels. Papa Smokes. This one had all the odds in the favor of Chad Daniels. This was all stacked against James Roth, everything against him to possibly assure that he would not hold on to his championship. But man, did he fight from underneath. He was that perfect babyface champion, despite everything that the heels tried to toss his way and do to demoralize him and destroy him and ruin his reign. He kept finding that little bit of strength, that little muster inside of him to fight back more and more and more until he finally could even the playing field and get the damn job done. This was a great main event. This was a solid title match. My first introduction to these two gentlemen, as far as I'm aware, and I liked it. I really did like this.
Yeah, same. You knew that when you got to the main event that this would be featuring WPW's top guys. So you know that they're going to get 20 minutes, or they got 18 or 20 minutes here. So you know that they're going to get to show their stuff. James Roth comes in as the champion and the babyface. Not anything flashy in his gimmick or anything like that. Same thing with chiseled Chad Daniels, who just is, yeah, he was somewhat chiseled, I suppose, but yeah, also an arrogant, egotistical babyface that had nothing nice to say to the crowd. There was really nothing fancy about this match. It was just quite solid. The guys did their spots, did their moves. It was all good. There was nothing overly flashy. I don't need that. I don't need flashy. If it's a good match fundamentally, I can get into that totally. And that's kind of what this was. There was a few spots that were there to thrill the fans kind of, and both these guys did them good. But again, it was a nice, solid main event from your experienced top guys. That's what I appreciate from a match like this. And James Roth fighting from way underneath, like you said, had all the cards stacked against them, but with the power of the fans behind him, rises up, brings the power to it, and gets the pinfall over Chad Daniels. Not too bad. I would like to see more of this, but I also feel like they could have a little more zazz in their main event somehow. There was nothing wrong with this whatsoever. It didn't stand out. It battled with a couple of the matches on the undercard as to what was more interesting on this card, including that lucha match and including that kind of quite good ladies match with Bia versus Kristara. Just in terms of potential, I liked that match also. So no, but this match closed the show out perfectly. Now the sky's dark. Now it looks nice outside. Now they've got the lights on. The crowd's sweaty. The crowd's had lots to drink. And, well, we got a main event. I loved it, Munson. And I just was watching this, kind of immersing myself in it a little bit and just thinking, damn, I can almost picture myself sitting there just like we watch food truck wars and beer wars and stuff like that. When you get to bring your wrestling promotion out to some of the summertime festivals in your city, get some different people's eyeballs on your product. It's a great thing. Sometimes that's where the magic happens. And I felt part of this crowd and I felt part of this show. Would love to attend this. Munson, maybe we should make a road trip and go out to this next year.
I think that might not be too shabby of an idea there, Papa Smokes. Nice summer trip out to check out WPW. But I got to ask you, the final verdict. Does Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, following this show, have a home here for reviews on Ring Respect Radio with the Video Bros?
Yeah, I very much think so. And I think that we should do a little bit more Canadian wrestling, particularly Western Canadian wrestling, and particularly that of my mother kin, the Peggers over in Winnipeg, man. Let's do some stuff. And we're not that far of neighbors, and let's do it. Let's get it going, Munson.
Perfect. Sounds good to me, Papa Smokes. But that's going to bring us to an end on Ring Respect Radio. So I'm going to throw up that most expensive, beautiful ticker in the world there. And Papa Smokes, you tell the people what you got coming up and where they can find you.
Most definitely. Every Thursday without fail, 7 o'clock Central Time, Ring Respect Radio on OLE Podcasts and Video Bros Network. I can also be found on Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X, formerly known as Twitter. I am at smokes_papa, and then on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
Perfect. And thank you, Astrid, for the shout out on the great show. We appreciate it. As for myself, Bobby Munson, over to the X Real Bobby Munson, Instagram and Threads, Video Bros SK, Twitch, Video Bro _Bobby Munson, and Blue Sky, BobbyMunson.bsky.social. As for what I got coming up, you can join me this Sunday along with Lauren Goodnight and Andre C as we bring you Point of View, where we're going to be doing a preview show for AEW's Forbidden Door. So check that out this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can catch another wrestling match with me and Papa Smokes at the helm, calling it all this Saturday on Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel. You can also go back and catch Narcissistic Behavior over on YouTube, but you can catch the review Ed and I did for Taking Over on Tuesday, which we got a shout out there from Mr. Holiday himself and also Alexander Hammerstone. It's just Twitter, Papa Smokes. We apparently don't acknowledge the X on here, according to Astrid. So you've been told. Thank you for bringing out the peggers. You got it. You got it. It's been a great show. You've been a great audience. As always, you can catch everything at OLE Podcast. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new material here on the channel. That's it for us this week. Take care. We will see you next Thursday night.